One of the fastest ways to make your first 10K profit in a single month online is choosing the right products. Now, if you're new around here, hey, my name is Sydney, and at 21 years old, I was able to make $200,000 profit in a single month on TikTok. And on top of that, using the exact same method, I've also generated a quarter billion views with my own two hands. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact system that I use to find products that not only goes viral, but also consistently pays you. And at the end, I'm going to share a bonus trick that TikTok is actually testing right now. And if you guys are early, could potentially 10x your commissions. Now, real quick on the topic of if you guys are new here, I just want to mention that in one of my other videos, I actually also shared the importance of choosing the right business vehicle if you are a complete beginner on making money on the internet, because this essentially makes or breaks how fast you can get from 0 to 10K profit in a single month with as little capital as possible. So if that interests you, make sure you guys watch this video till the very end, because this is actually a core foundational piece to add on to that. I will add a link in the description so that you guys can also check out those other videos. Quick disclaimer before we actually get started. I just want to say that this entire video is a framework. So do not take this video as a formula. And the reason why I say this is that in life, there's a lot of nuances, and I actually want to help you guys in the best way possible. So rather than taking everything in this video as absolutes, like I have to do this and I have to do that, I want you guys to just take the entire video as a checklist and find things that match your specific situation. Because, for example, there's a lot of things that you guys need to factor, things like your niche or your audience, or just more things about you that's very specific that I wouldn't personally know, but you would know. So rather than thinking in things like black and white, just try to absorb everything in this video and consider nuances. Like it's just different for everybody, but I'm still going to try my best to lay out everything in the best way possible that can best help you guys make your money. Now, all of these products that you guys are seeing on your screen right now are some of the most viral, highest selling products in their respective categories. So, for example, we have the Halar pants, the Goli ashwagandha gummies, the Cakes nipple covers, the Evil Goods beef tallow, as well as recently the Brainista yerba mate drink. So, the reason why I want to start this video this way is because you guys are going to realize that although this video is specifically for TikTok shop affiliate creators, whether you are a drop shipper or you do e-commerce, or you are somebody that is looking to sell your own branded products on TikTok shop from a brand seller perspective, not a affiliate creator perspective, you're going to notice some things that can also help you if you're looking to source your own creators later on, because this essentially makes it stupid easy for your creators to not only go viral. That's why, like, when you want to sell products, obviously you want to sell products that solves a pain point. But if you don't want to create the content yourself from a brand owner perspective, you need to either provide the best resources possible to your creators, or you just need to create a marketable, lack of a better word, product to help your creators actually go viral. Because when you're starting a new brand on TikTok shop, if you have never sold anything at all on TikTok shop, most affiliate creators, whether they're beginners or they have some experience or they're like the top of the line best TikTok shop creators in their respective fields, usually nobody wants to do all the heavy lifting in the beginning and trying to get the product off the ground. Because I mean, if you're only getting a 20% commission on a bad product, right, you can imagine it's going to be even harder to sell that product. So ideally you pick a product that's marketable, if that makes sense. I'm going to frame this entire video around beginners just because I think collectively this is just a good general toolkit to have in your TikTok shop arsenal. So, with that being said, we are starting with number one. Does it have a good wow factor? When people are on TikTok, right? These people are not on research mode. TikTok is a visual first platform. So it's really important that when you are picking products, the product needs to be visually good. So, for example, both of these products brush your pet's hair. This one looks like a boring brush, while this one has a unique feature. It has this button where it automatically pushes the hair out once the brush has enough cat hair, dog hair. So it makes it easier to clean this tool with the press of a button. That's its unique selling point, right? So it's really important that you find a product that you can actually demonstrate easily in a video. So ideally, products that move, change, transform, or obviously solves a product fast usually tend to perform better. Because again, when these people are scrolling on a visual first TikTok platform, these people that are doom scrolling are essentially on autopilot mode. So when you're trying to sell to these people, you need to work with what's called their heuristics, not against them. And if you don't know what heuristics is, I'm going to explain it more later on to the video because this actually ties a little bit more into people's psychology and it's actually really important. So that's why I wanted to have its own separate section. The next one is this product emotionally triggering? And what that means is, does it hit a pain, pleasure, or identity? Right? And this is something that I talked about in some of my older videos with transformation selling, etc. Essentially, what transformation selling is you need to trigger an emotional transformation to sell to these people to make them actually want to desire the product. I even explained my whole map framework. Again, that thing is its own separate video. I don't want to get too deep into it. If you want to know more about that, I'll leave the link in the description down below. But ideally, again, for things like pain, this product needs to solve acne, back pain, messy hair. That's just some example. Or for pleasure, right? Do you want to have glass skin or does this clear the air? So, like an air purifier. Or does it make cooking easier? So, for example, I remember there's this product that I saw where because her husband doesn't really like to cook because of all the dishes that he has to do after, this woman got her husband this Christmas gift where it's like a frying pan, but it's divided in three sections. So you have a section for the hot dogs, for the bacon, and for the eggs. So it makes the cleaning process a lot easier. So that's one way of pleasure or identity, right? So, for example, for busy moms or for fitness lovers or for gamers, right? You want to target these people's identity. Because of TikTok's fast, doom scrolling, brain rot nature, you need to find products that spark an instant feeling when you're trying to make these videos. So that's why, like, for example, there's a lot of videos out there in the skincare niche where they start their video with a visual hook like this, where they're using these images as context images, right? So, for example, let's say you're selling sunscreen, you're gonna start the video. This is what's gonna happen if you don't use sunscreen. And you show a picture of an old lady where one side it shows the massive difference between her not using sunscreen and the other side where she did use sunscreen. And wow, look at that difference. On one side, she looks very old, wrinkly, whatever. And then on the other side, her skin looks very youthful. You want to find products that is emotionally triggering that can instantly make people go like, whoa, like what is going on here? Now this brings us to our next point, which is you need to find products that are impulse buy friendly. What that means is ideally the price sweet spot is around $15 to $50. Now you can sell products either cheaper than this or more expensive than this, but the reason why this is my personal opinion, again, this is why I said take everything in this video as a checklist. Like, be thoughtful of the nuances. I know, like, there's gonna be products out there on TikTok Shop that sell and they're probably like $150, whatever. Doesn't really matter. The point is, this is like the general checklist you should just consider, but take everything with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, it's your own judgment. It's like your own personal preference too. Doesn't matter. But anyways, ideally, you pick products around $15 to $50 because you want to minimize friction as much as possible because this essentially gets rid of the overthinking, right? Like it just makes people want to just add to cart instantly and just buy the product. And that's what you want, right? So, because TikTok shoppers buy emotionally, not logically, piggybacking from my previous point and my other videos with emotional transformations, emotional desires, things like that. Ideally, this is what you want. So, for example, like we have a product here that's originally sold for $89.99, but for the most part, I don't know how long this sale has been going on, but this product is on a 56% discount, bringing the price down to 39.99. And like, look at this. Look at how many products this company has sold. 530,000 units sold. Now, first, let's break this down. Why is it that TikTok shop buyers buy emotionally and not logically? Actually, this goes all the way back to like hundreds and thousands of years ago, in the prehistoric ages. So, for example, you're a human scavenging for food. Let's say the bushes start rustling. You have two options. You either just make a run for it, or you stay there, wait for some extra context, and then decide, am I gonna stay here, continue staying here, or am I gonna run away? And what I mean with like extra context, I wonder what the animal is behind the bushes, or is it even an animal, or is it just the wind, right? Now, at its core, humans existed for thousands of years because of two main reasons. It's because of reproduction and survival. That's essentially why humans are just motivated to do anything, right? Maybe not the best explanation, but hear me out. Because humans are hardwired for survival, in that example that I gave where the bush was rustling, let's say it was either two options, either it was a bunny or it was an apex predator behind the bushes. Like, I don't know, let's say it was like a tiger, whatever. I don't know if a tiger's gonna be in some random bush, but let's just say, yeah, a tiger, right? You took option A, where you just chose to run. Doesn't matter if it was a rabbit or it was an apex predator, you would have been safe. You would have passed the bare minimum thing that a human needs to do, which is, again, optimize for survival or for reproduction. Alternatively, if you took option B, which is you staying there, then deciding, okay, let's find more context. Like, is it actually just the wind, or is it a bunny, or is it a squirrel, or is it an apex predator like a tiger, or a snake like a extremely poisonous venomous snake? Hypothetically, it happened to be an apex predator. You would have been screwed. That your entire bloodline would have been wiped off the map just like that, aka natural selection. So, this is like the default wiring, primal wiring of humans. We're always emotional first before logical. It's not because this is just some marketing gimmick, whatever. It's like, I don't know the best term to explain it, but it's like something about how humans survive as well. Like, imagine if your logical brain is always thinking 24/7. You're going to be using so much energy and power to always critically and logically think that if you were to do this thousands of years ago, that would have been deadly, lethal. Like, it could actually make or break if we're going to live tomorrow or not, because you can imagine hundreds and thousands of years ago, like finding resources like food is very scarce, which is why as humans, we just developed in a way where we're just hardwired to think emotionally first because it's the safest route possible. It takes the least amount of resources, the least amount of, energy, power, whatever from your brain. So it's like more optimized for survival, essentially. Like, this is such a long-winded example, but I hope that makes sense. That's the science behind why humans buy emotionally first, not logically. Now, this brings us to our next point, which is heuristics. So, basically, I just want to talk about this. What heuristics are mental shortcuts that our brain uses to make quick decisions without deep analysis. So, remember when I said earlier, ideally, you think about things emotionally first, then logically, because your body is optimized for survival. So if you're always constantly thinking about things logically, you're going to use a lot of resources, a lot of energy, a lot of power. You get the gist. So heuristics essentially act as a way to help you make fast, emotional, automatic decisions without deep analysis. When you're scrolling on TikTok, your brain is like in an emotionally primed state, unless you intentionally went on TikTok to do market research for your product or for content. And, again, nuances to everything. They're dopamine scrolling. They're not logic crunching, right? So what that means is their brains are looking for novelty, entertainment, feel good moments, not trying to micromanage or compare everything in charts in their head, which piggybacks off of my point from earlier, why you need to sell products that are cheap. Because if products hover around this general price range where it's like $15 to $50. What this means, lack of a better word, there's this term called risk aversion, where ideally your brain tries to find ways to minimize risk as much as possible because again, you can't risk wasting resources because if you waste all of your berries today, you can't guarantee that you're going to find berries again tomorrow to survive. So this is like a built-in cognitive bias in humans. This is so long-winded, but I hope you guys are still watching and it makes sense. In a nutshell, what this means is people instinctively avoid losses or potential regret more than they want to see gain. So, for example, the other day I tweeted how, oh, this guy's girlfriend would much rather risk the odds of making more money by getting the samples faster by just buying it versus saving the money and waiting for free samples. Like, imagine if you were to just buy the product now and make content on it versus waiting for the brand owner to send you free samples, while you're sitting there waiting for the free samples, you could have made 5, 10, 20 videos on the product, which, exponentially increases your chances of making more money on TikTok because you have more videos posted. Ideally, like they're all different from each other. So you would have put in more reps. So you could have tested more angles, more content styles, etc. Rather than, had you just waited and just sat around and did nothing and had no videos up and no reps in and didn't get to actually get tangible results like, okay, this angle didn't work. Let's try this angle. Okay, this content style didn't work. Let's try this content style. So, going back to the main point, this is why most people hesitate before buying anything expensive or unfamiliar products because people subconsciously ask like, am I going to waste my money if I buy this or do I really need it? Which is why, again, going back, we ideally want to find products that hover around this range, $15 to $50. Anyways, going back to my heuristics example here, my last and final point is ideally the customer doesn't have to do any research because that leads to instant gratification. And what that means is this adds on to my map framework. So ideally, this product needs to be understood, desired, and justified within 30 seconds. So for example, my most viral video, like the first minute of the video is mostly the story. And then by the time I actually introduced the solution, which is this product, I essentially backed up all of my claims with social proof, authority, etc., and my own personal testimonials all within 30 seconds. Because any longer than that, then you start to drag the video out, and then the viewers start to lose interest, because people have brain rot and like shortened attention spans on TikTok is actually crazy. But also, mind you, going back to like the actual psychology behind it, like again, it takes more brain power, energy, and effort to continue watching a video than to just continuously dopamine scrolling, right? Like you're just watching the first couple seconds of every video. The more time you commit to a video, the more draining it takes, right? So, for example, you guys know how some TikTok videos of like some story time, like this lady could have explained everything in the 10 minutes she yapped on TikTok in maybe like 2 minutes, right? But she kept bouncing between different topics instead of just going back to the main point. Anyways, to wrap up this entire heuristics portion of the video, ideally, you want to find products that align with impulse buy heuristics. So, in a simple, easy way to understand what that means is the product needs to be emotionally appealing. It needs to be under $50, ideally. It also needs to be instantly gratifying. Now we talk about content potential. The reason why I have this a little bit towards the middle and not in the beginning is because this can either be a make or break situation for beginners. I don't think it really matters for experienced creators. But anyways, ideally you want to find products that you can easily film with either story driven, problem solution, or before and after. Now, in my previous videos, I actually mentioned why ideally you should pick products that you already use because you know more about this product more than anyone because you actually use it every day. And so you know why you use it, right? Like it's because it got you the results that you wanted from point A to point B. So, anyways, if you can picture 5 ways to create content around this product, whether it be funny, educational, shocking, etc., then it's a green light. So, for example, under the talking head umbrella, there's multiple content styles. You have problem solution and things like conspiracy green screen. Some aspects of this content style applies to problem and solution, whether it's also the POV and skit style or the testimonial transformation slash personal story, right? Like all of these fall under the problem solution category, and then it also still follows under the talking head umbrella. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the best way to describe this. Like, they all just kind of relate to each other. It's just how you want to make the content. Like, even educational style, like this video, which at the time of this screenshot, it did like 116 million views. Now it's like 120 million views. I don't have the video saved. It's on TikTok. I don't remember the guy's account. But anyways, like even educational style, right? Like, oh, he talks about how if your fupa looks like this, which is the problem, then he goes through like this whole process of like, oh, if you do this, this is how you're going to get rid of your fupa, which is the solution part. And how can you actually execute on the solution part? You buy this product, right? This brings us to our next point, which is the product oversaturated? I don't think this is too crazy because the thing with TikTok shop products, there's me personally, I don't think there's a case of oversaturation. It's just a lack of angles, right? There's so many ways to market different products because most of these products, they're not entirely new. It's more so just marketed differently, if that makes sense. So, anyways, when you go on TikTok, you want to search the product's name. And if there's tons of videos already posted in the last 7 days, if you're a complete beginner, ideally you don't make videos on products with extreme saturation because if you don't know how to apply storytelling, how to execute on transformation selling, or how to leverage your unfair advantages, things like that, which I explained in my previous video, then there's no way you're going to be able to compete in a saturated market because you're just not going to know like how to create a new angle. Like this is something that's more catered towards experienced creators. Unless you can again do better by creating a better hook or finding a new angle, there's literally no way for you to compete. I saw one creator posted about this where they were looking at this batana oil product and it showed right here on the bottom views and sales of videos with this product are trending down because there are too many shoppable videos of it. So essentially what TikTok is trying to do, advising people not to promote this product because there's already too many content around it. So they're trying to incentivize creators to post about other products on the platforms. I don't think saturation exists on TikTok. It's just when it comes to this, if you're a complete beginner, it's going to be like a very tricky ocean to navigate across just because you're just not going to have the right skills and toolkit. I don't want to ramble too much about this, so I'm going to move on to the next point, which is, are the commissions worth it? So for example, you want to make sure that the commission percentage and the actual payout is worth it. So you don't want to just chase high ticket, low ticket impulse buys that sells faster if they're emotional. You want to make sure that these products, like the numbers actually make sense. Because, for example, I remember when Trump got elected, right? There was a bunch of these Trump shirts going viral on TikTok shop live streams. These are not the exact examples, but these are just the ones that I found on Google. But doesn't really matter if there's a high demand on this product and it's also a trending product and you also fit the character market fit if the commissions suck. I mean, go at it. If you want to sell $30 product for $3 commission, go ahead. That's what I'm saying. There's nuances to this video. But me personally, if I have the option, I would much rather sell a $70 bundle like this. And by the way, this goes over the impulse buy uh slide that I have here, but let me explain. The reason why I would much rather prefer selling this and get a $30 commission on top is in the event that this brand owner decides that they want to do flash sales like this, where it's literally like 50% off. Once my video is up, let's say they're running a sale and the people see it, oh my God, this is a $70 product, but it's on a flash sale, so I can actually get it for a lot less. That it's like a no brainer for people wanting to impulse buy this. Because I remember on one of my TikTok shop videos, I was selling this skincare set that's normally $120, but because we were approaching summer and there's a summer sale, and I don't know, just a bunch of other sales that this brand was doing because one, they were new to TikTok Shop, two, they have a lot of inventory that they had to get rid of. And it was with the older packaging. They were stacking coupons on top of coupons. And then on top of that, TikTok also stacked coupons on what the brand was selling it for. So essentially this $120 5-piece skincare bundle, the price dropped down from 40 as little as $20. So when you make your video and you say, "Oh, if you were to price check anywhere else compared to like Amazon, Walmart, whatever, and the price is this," and even on the official website, they see that the price is $120. But just on TikTok Shop specifically, the price is actually $80. But then the brand did an extra sale. So now it's down to $40, but then TikTok is giving you coupons. Now it's down to $20. It makes it easier for the person to impulse buy. I know that was such a mouthful, but I hope that at least made sense. Like, it's just a no brainer to just pick a product that's a little bit more expensive if the numbers actually make sense. Again, some of these points, it really just depends on the product, if that makes sense. Lastly, this is my favorite part, the most important part, and this is what helped me go from 30 to 100K profit in a month is finding products that actually matches my vibe. So there's this term called character model fit and then character market. So character market fit means you just naturally match the audience on who wants to buy the product. So for example, I like skincare, I'm selling skincare products, then I'm matching the audience that I'm selling to. But on top of that, if you are somebody that is trying to match a specific age demographic, so for example, you either look really young or you look really old relative to your target audience, then there's this term called character model fit, where now you have to essentially model or act like someone else that matches that audience, if that makes sense. The person that the audience expects to match that particular niche. So, what this means is the person that you're now modeling isn't exactly you. You're just playing a role. This is why in the past couple videos that I've posted, I always talk about ideally you promote products that you actually like to use because even as a beginner, it just makes it even easier to sell the product if you actually use it because it helps with like for example, if you've never made videos online and you don't also know how to sell to people, if you are picking products that you already use, it helps you be more comfortable on camera and it helps you better execute that idea where, like, oh, imagine you're trying to sell a product to a friend on FaceTime. So ideally, you find products that naturally fit your personality, interests, or humor. And on top of that, the gazillionth time I've said this, you want to find products that you actually use because, unlike somebody else, you can actually authentically talk about it and you'll have way better conversions because you're actually speaking from experience. You're not just spewing bullshit out of your ass like what most grifters do on TikTok Shop. So I explained this in very great detail. Short plug, shameless plug on one of my older videos. Make sure you guys watch this because I actually broke this down a lot better in a three formula process, three-step system. I don't know what you want to call it. This is everything all in one together. Ideally, you want to pick something that's emotional, visual, affordable, with good commission, that's easy to film with, and feels natural for you to promote. Because what is the most important part? Authenticity is key. People only buy from people that they trust. And that's the reason why I have this as the, last and final point is if you're picking products that you actually don't feel any passion about or you just don't care about or you just don't believe in, people are going to see that energy through the screen and they're going to see that, oh, okay, this person's just now saying bullshit. How can I trust this person? I can't trust them. They're probably just, yeah, like they probably don't even believe that the product works. So why would I believe them, right? To piggyback on why does it match your vibe? For example, let's use Gumball here. Let's say that you want to sell these creatine gummies. Now you have three people. You have Gumball that looks skinny, maybe lean, whatever. Then you have this fat version of Gumball who looks like a obese Discord mon. And then you have Gumball's dad who's like absolutely chiseled, peak physical form, right? ungodly physique. Who do you think of these three will have an easier time to sell these creatine gummies? This is what I was talking about with character market fit and character model fit. So if you are the character market fit, which is, let's say, Richard, Gumball's dad, you will have an easier time than the two of these guys trying to sell creatine gummies because you actually fit the role. People can see the transformation through the video via you. Like you're the actual transformation. Now, alternatively, let's say you are Gumball, there is some aspects to it which you can finesse. So the way how you would do this is, now this is what I would call the character model fit, where now you're trying to model the person that would ideally use creatine gummies, right? So this is when the storytelling aspect really comes to play, because if you look like this and you don't look like this with like the chiseled abs and like, bulging biceps, for you to be able to sell the same creatine gummies, you either, for example, use borrowed authority, or like, have you guys seen this guy on TikTok that like use these creatine gummies? And then suddenly now they look like this. It's because, they're able to retain more water in their body. So like, their muscles is filled up with water, so it like expands. I don't know the whole science behind creatine, but you get the point. You really have to leverage storytelling a lot more with this concept. But yeah, anyways, or you can talk about it from the perspective like, oh, I used to be like this skinny dude, and honestly, me personally, I'm actually starting to see some gains ever since I started taking these creatine gummies. So yeah, I can testify for it. Is actually legit. And then this is when, now you mention like, yeah, saw this guy on TikTok, he used this, now he looks like this. You can check the reviews, the testimonials of the actual product. That's another way to add social proof. Yeah, like look at these thousands of 4, 5 star reviews of other people using these creatine gummies. Like, oh my god, they're actually seeing some progress on their gains, because yeah, like the whole science behind creatine. You get the idea. Versus if you look like this, there is absolutely no way you're gonna be able to sell creatine gummies when you don't fit the role, because this is the opposite of the before and after. Now, this is a quick bonus, which are consumables. What this means is you want to find products that people have to buy again because they already used it up. This is why I'm not really a big fan of products like tripods or back massagers. You buy it once, you don't buy it again, right? So anything, literally anything that just runs out with time. So things like acne patches, supplements, toothpaste, pet treats, skincare, things like that. Those are my favorite products to sell. And the reason is because, and this is the bonus trick that I was talking about in the beginning of the video, is TikTok is starting to roll out subscriptions. So what this means is, because brands can now offer product subscriptions to customers, and this is specifically just for these categories: beauty, food, beverage, health, home supplies, personal care, pet supplies. What this means is, in the foreseeable future, we can expect to see TikTok Shop offering recurring commissions to creators. So, for example, let's say this person bought acne patches from your video, right? And let's say this brand chose to do TikTok Shop subscriptions. We can safely assume that at some point TikTok's going to be like, oh, okay, if this person buys from your video listing, let's reward you by giving you recurring subscription or recurring commissions in the event that this person that bought from your listing actually signed up for the subscription option and they get it every 3 months or every 6 months. I don't know, like, in any universe, why a brand wouldn't offer recurring commissions to their creators, especially if this is their top affiliates. Because the thing with TikTok Shop from a brand perspective is, it's really like the only way for you to actually thrive on TikTok Shop is you have to really go heavy on incentivizing creators and make them want to stay loyal to you than jumping across ships and making content for competitor brands, right? And how you do that is either offering better commissions, retainers, potentially equity, or in this case, recurring commissions on the people that subscribe to TikTok Shop subscriptions on your particular product. So if you guys are wondering, okay, Sydney, like this is such a long video, where can you actually find TikTok Shop products? In a nutshell, this is the easy answer. You can find it on the TikTok Shop product marketplace, Kalo data, the daily virals. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what platform, what app, what tool, if you don't have these 7.5 or 8 concepts, then it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it all boils down to personal preference. Like I could probably give you guys like the best products out there. Like you can sell, for example, these products right here. If you are a guy and I told you that you can get 40% or $40 for every halara pants that you can sell, if you're a guy and you really just don't care about women's pants, you're not going to be able to sell this. Not only because you're not the right character market fit, but again, you just really don't care. It doesn't really matter. This is probably one of the hardest videos I had to make just because with this layout specifically, a lot of this boils down to just personal preference. That's why I didn't start the video. We go to this website, you look up the product that you want, there you go. It spews out the product. I think that's just bad advice because everybody is uniquely different. Like me personally, I don't really care if, you know, these Trump shirts are selling for uh $25 commission a pop. I really don't care. I don't care about politics. I don't want to be associated with politics. I don't care if it's trending. I want to promote products that I actually believe in and products that I actually use because, I personally focus on evergreen content and in the hypothetical event that in the future that this brand rolls out TikTok shop subscriptions, people are not going to continuously buy Trump shirts because that whole Trump inauguration thing trend that was happening a couple months ago, it's dead now. So people are not going to keep buying it, and the odds of it happening is probably. I wouldn't say it's impossible or unlikely, but it's just very low. Whereas with skincare, right? For example, that's why I said as a bonus, uh, you want to find products that are consumable. Like you can imagine if a lady buys this set and she actually liked the product, oh, she's probably gonna run out of the face mask, so she's gonna wanna buy again. So then, if she was subscribed to the TikTok shop subscription, and let's say that this brand enabled recurring commissions to the creators, then it's like passive income. So it's like a no brainer. I don't know. That's why I framed the video this way. Pick products that fits you the best. Take nuances in consideration. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Before you guys even hear any of these tips and advice, I actually have a newsletter. So if you guys want to hear the best sauce in the game, make sure you guys go to the description down below, subscribe to my newsletter, and also follow me on Twitter because I post tweets after I make my newsletters. And if anybody is interested in some consulting, I also do that, but you have to DM me for that. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you guys next time.